Hi, I'm Angela Evans, and I'm a student at Liberty University. I'm here to talk about ethical violations and board discipline. As counselors, we may have violations from complaints of clients or supervisors and even colleagues. This is why that we must check in our American Counseling Association 2014 Code of Ethics, as well as our state board of counselors with the regulations in order to keep from going to court and having disciplinary actions taken upon us. We also need to inquire of our supervisor if we do not understand what to do. It's very important to have clear instructions on what you are doing for each client. So, according to ACA 2014 Code of Ethics, counselors are required to maintain client records. In the Louisiana Board of Professional Counselors, no date, there was a violation of a counselor, which was also a violation of State Board of Counselors. It resulted in disciplinary action against the counselor. In complaint number 20/21-113, defendant violated ACA 2014 Code of Ethics and a Louisiana Board of Counselors regulations. The defendant engaged in unprofessional conduct when she withheld records, and she also interacted in a dual relationship. There were similarities between the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics and that it was maintenance of client records. However, it was also different because it had a conduct violation stating the defendant had a dual relationship with the client. The defendant wished to get a consent agreement order where she agreed not to engage in said actions again. They suspended her license for up to 2 years. She violated the B.6.A of the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics that says counselors should create records and documentation necessary for rendering professional services. In the Louisiana State Board of Counselors Code, RS 401299.96 ETSEQ, maintaining patient records are required by laws. So then we're going to get into counseling impairment. What is counseling impairment? It is a condition that compromises and reduces the quality of counseling received by clients. What does ACA 2014 Code of Ethics and Louisiana State Board of Professional Counseling, no date, say about counseling impairment? ACA 2014 Code of Ethics states that the counselor must monitor themselves for signs of impairment from their own mental, physical, or emotional problems and refrain from providing any professional services to the public while impaired. Louisiana State Board of Professional Counseling, no date, states counselors should not practice when impaired and should look out for their well-being. The LPC does not have one single code for counseling impairment. Instead, it has several sections that address the subjects that would be affected by counselor impairment, which are ethical obligations, administrative codes, dealing with counselor impairment, as well as a counselor's conduct. It also explains the consequences of poor conduct and the matter of the client's welfare. It makes it very clear. My understandings of counseling impairment is that we should not only be informed of the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics, as well as our state board counseling, we should also be aware of our current conditions, personal lives and our careers, and if we're balancing them correctly. This is why so many people get in trouble. We also need to ask for help when we first start, when we're counselors in training, from our supervisor. If we don't understand something, if we don't know how to do it, we need to make sure we get the clarification that we need. We get into an ethical dilemma when we do not balance our home life from our career, or we don't ask for help. It's a village. It takes everyone, especially that supervisor or that colleague that's been there for a while. We also get into trouble when we do not look at, for each case, each client, the ACA 2014 Code of Ethics standards, as well as state laws, for that matter. So my faith has always helped me make the right decision on what to do in a case of ethical dilemma. It starts with, the Lord said, obey the laws of the land. Okay, wherever you live, you obey those laws. Romans 13:1-7 says, all authority comes from God, as citizens should be subject to the governing authorities. I then would prayerfully seek to do the correct thing every day, obeying all statutes and laws from ACA and the state regulations. Sometimes, despite all our hard work to abide by all the rules and regulations, we can accidentally run into trouble just simply because we're new at it. Okay, and we can break regulations, but I would have to say that I would agree with what the court says and cooperate with them, because they have sway in what happens to us. I will have to respect whatever the verdict is and whatever the judge gives me. Thank you, and have a great day.